Looking for a car you can count on? At AutoMasters, we offer a hand-picked selection of used and certified pre-owned vehicles priced right and ready to drive. With easy financing and expert service, AutoMasters is your trusted dealership from test drive to keys in hand. AutoMasters, driven by trust, powered by service. Visit our website at automasters06.com or stop by today. And oh yeah, tell them Sonia said.
She say, sports. She say, sports. She say, sports. She say, sports.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Please welcome licensed clinical social worker associate and the founder and CEO of Stay in the Game LLC, Alisha J. Lassiter.
Woo! Hey
Hi
everybody,
Alisha, how are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much, Sonia, for having me.
Absolutely. You've been on my radar for a minute, and I was like,
Yeah,
I'm going to get her. So, thank you
I'm
so much.
honored.
So, we're going to get started. We're running a little late, and I know you got to get out of here. So, I'm going to get started. Can you tell us the story behind Stay in the Game LLC and what inspired you to start this company?
Sure, my pleasure. So, for those of you who do not know, I am a longtime lover of the game of basketball. Really, all sports, but definitely basketball. Growing
Mhm.
up with my father, brother, and primarily all my cousins being males, we were
Mhm.
outside just hooping it every day.
Right.
Or whether they put me on the sidelines.
Me
but
too.
yeah, but I got in the game.
Mhm.
So I love sports. It's embedded in my DNA. And so with staying in the game, I was originally a teacher, 12-year teacher. And so
Okay.
I just got to the point where I was just kind of like, I don't know if I can be that 30-year teacher. And so I was trying to figure out pretty much how to pivot. And I realized I'm really good with people, listening, helping. And I'm like, there has to be something where I can merge sports to therapy. And so as I begin to pursue and look and step outside of my comfort zone, on apps such as LinkedIn, I began
Mhm.
to find that there was a whole new world out there of other things that people were doing that I was looking for. So as I
Right.
took steps toward a dream or goal, it found me really. So the title "Stay in the Game" really came from just a blurb I was looking at from a banner one of my friends
Mhm.
created, and it had it in there, but I added something a little different as far as the spelling, and I was like, "Oh my God, stay in the game! That's it."
I love
So I
that.
really wanted something that would stand out, you know. So
So stay in the game is I guess it plays both ways with the athlete playing ball as well as their mental health or
absolutely. Well,
okay.
just them holistically, that whole
Okay.
aspect. So stay in the game refers to, yes, your mental health, but it of course also refers to your emotional, social, psychological, excuse me, all of
Mhm.
things that make the individual.
Gotcha. So was there a particular moment or experience that made you realize the need for holistic sports therapy for athletes and their families?
Well, in reflecting on what it was I want to offer, you know that there's a lot of great organizations out there, but
Hmm.
you really want to figure out what kind of audience you want, what kind of impact you want to make. And the only way I
Right.
found that to I guess be something that I could understand was I had to do
Hmm.
some self-reflection. I had to figure out what is it that I would want if I was at this
Hmm.
stage in the game. And I was at that stage of the game as a teacher because again,
Right.
it's called stay in the game. It's not just sports, although it's catered to athletes and their families. It's
Hmm.
also the general public. Wherever you can
Gotcha.
find yourself at in life, it's for
Hmm.
you. I'm for you. And so that's how that really came to be. And I thought about all the different aspects and individuals that have played a role in helping me become who Alicia Lassiter is, but also those moments that were redefining moments that hurt, but I'm grateful that I was able to
Mm.
stay in the game. And we know that life is not a game, but at the same
Right.
time, sports is very competitive. We want to win, we want to overcome. And as my pastor would say, life has trouble built into it. And so the way that we navigate around that and posture our mindset it really speaks to who we can become.
And that's true, absolutely, Alicia. And when you were talking, I was thinking about how sometimes, like during the beginning of the year, we just focus on, oh, I'm gonna lose weight,
Yeah,
but the weight could be tied to something that's going on inside of you internally. So it's
absolutely.
like work on everything. I love that. So, what does holistic sports therapy mean to you, and how is it different from traditional athletic therapy?
Well, for me, I can just speak to what it is I bring to the table. The holistic aspect, I would say, speaks to the environment that the
Hmm.
athlete is in. So whether it's their childhood environment, whether it's the
Hmm.
people they're helping to support now, whether it's them being separated from their child or their spouse or going through some type of relationship issue, whether it's
Right.
the identity crisis. You understand what I'm saying? Whether it's the
Mhm.
influx of money that's coming in or what's going out. It's
Yeah.
all the different factors that help to add, I guess, the spotlight on them. So when I think of holistic, I'm thinking of everything. Yes, we're thinking about, you mentioned weight, we're thinking about the different types of foods that we take in or the way
Hmm.
that we may, some people end up starving themselves because of
Yep.
body image,
Yep.
and nothing could not be wrong, nothing could be wrong at all, but it's the way that they perceive themselves. So
Right.
self-perception could be off. There's so many layers that you can pull back, but you have to start somewhere. So when I think of holistic, I think of my life in different areas or people that have been impactful.
Hmm.
And there are few individuals, but the impact was so strong, I couldn't just stay where I was. And while I love instructing and doing it, being in education, I found that I was able to take that and transfer that over to what I'm doing now. Hence, I'm before you right now.
Love it. I love it. So, Stay in the Game focuses on both athletes and their families. Why is the family aspect so important in this kind of work?
I feel like we just continue, it's a continuation of things, but the family is so important because when the athlete steps off the field or court or whatever their respective sport is,
Hmm.
they're going back to their family and friends
Yep.
unless they have isolated themselves. So whatever environment they come from or whoever they have in their ear, they play a vital role in whether the athlete can stay, encouraged mentally,
Hmm.
whether they can continue to train at their optimum level of, I guess, desired level, whatever the case may be. But
Hmm.
when you don't have the right, I would say, support system around you, it really can impact your overall mental health in the way that you perform. And
That's
let's
true.
say you actually have the right system around you, whatever that looks like. I
Hmm.
was in a magazine, Significance in Athletics, by Monique Smith. You may be familiar with her. And
She's been
so
on the
in
show.
that,
I love her.
definitely love her. I appreciate her. In the article that I wrote, I talked about my core system was called the Dream Team. That's what I call them. I didn't come up with that till my adulthood, but but I call them that because that made sense to me. I'm a
Yeah.
real, I believe, practical person. I like to keep things, pretty simplified because when we're
Hmm.
talking with people, we're not throwing out what some people do, but I'm not about just throwing out titles here and there. I
Right.
want you to meet them where they are. I want to engage with you. Yes, we can definitely speak the verbiage of the environment in which we're in, but at
Hmm.
the end of the day, we're all just people.
That's right. No,
We're all
that's
just
true.
people. And we matter, but we're all just people.
And speaking of engaging, what ages do you engage with? Are you starting with middle school on up or college on up? Who are you working with?
Well, to be honest, I found that when I think I'm working in a certain area, I'm working in a mall. So
Mhm.
I'm grateful to have had, I would say, influence in spaces such as elementary, middle, because we
Oh,
know
that's
middle school
great.
is really where I think they're in the middle of everything.
And
Emotions,
it's the foundation.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a turning point. But then also what people experience in elementary school, the adult is really not thinking about what they experience in elementary school. But whatever you don't address or know to address, it only waits till I think you get to a certain point in life and then it rears its head, whatever the case may be. And so
That's
then by
true.
the time I talk with the collegiate athlete or the professional athlete or the supportive family member, we're able to identify and dig through the different things that have played a
Mhm.
role and pretty much helping the person form who they are through their identity and self-identity. That it plays a vital role. It plays a vital role. So go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your
Okay.
point.
So I was going to say, it may seem like it's everybody because it is, because I've served in the role of a school-based therapist, and
Mhm.
I still assist with that to some capacity.
Mhm.
I have found that again, it's needed to help people, in elementary or children rather elementary, middle, and high school. All right. But especially with NIL and all these different things coming at
Mhm.
them. But I've also been blessed with opportunities to, engage in conversations and help upcoming partnerships with professional teams. Can't drop them just yet, but definitely professional teams. So I think it's very important. I
That's
love
awesome.
sports, but if
Mhm.
I'm cheering for you throughout the week, on the weekend, and then you're going home and you're falling apart because you have, the cash, the crib, the clothes, the cars, but you feel voids on the inside. Yeah, you need to come talk to me.
You need to come talk to you.
Come.
Absolutely. And my former pastor, he's always said this, and this has been my saying for the last 20 something years. Adult problems are children's problems never resolved. And
Mm-hmm.
that's so true. A lot of stuff, you like you said, you get into the root of it.
Right,
And
right,
it's good that you're working with the families because they probably can see where it happened.
right.
And sometimes we don't know where it happened, but that's absolutely true. So can you describe a typical session or treatment plan?
Yes. So depending on, can I go into detail about the type of sessions that I have?
Mhm.
So let me
Yes.
add some light to it. So Stay in the Game offers two different sets. We have our therapeutic services, and then we have the speaking, I would say mindfulness speaking engagements that I do.
Mhm.
So as it relates to therapeutic services, I have the individual sessions, which since we're talking about athletes, the athletes. And then if an athlete has a child or children, it's the athlete child session, and then it's the athlete partner session. Okay, and
Mhm.
then we bring in the family, whatever that might look like. And that can take a number of sessions because we're not just talking about immediate family, and we're talking about bringing in other family members. So that's a whole nother can,
Wow.
to open. So my desire is for the athlete to be seen as a person first.
Mhm.
I'm going to go to your game. I'm going to be there and celebrate. I will. But I cannot move forward and celebrating you only in the spotlight if I know that behind the scenes, again, you are suffering.
You're
And it doesn't
struggling.
mean that
Mhm.
everybody's suffering. Mental health is just something we all have. It just has been
Right.
really highlighted over the past few years, and people are starting to understand it even more. So, as you mentioned, my services, you have the therapeutic services, and then you have the speaking opportunities in which I've been very fortunate to go and speak at different universities and the Black Sports
Mhm.
Business Symposium, and with other therapeutic organizations. So
Mhm.
I go and yes, I inform athletes. I go and I speak with coaching staff and all the different partners that have that role surrounding the athlete. So it's not just the family; it's the individuals that athletes see on a day-to-day basis. Because
Mhm.
if they are not privy to the information and not just doing it as a checklist, then how can you expect the athlete to carry that on their own?
Right. Okay.
You know.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Um, what are some common challenges athletes face today that people outside the sports world might not realize? Now, I know you mentioned NIL earlier, and I really think social media plays a part, but what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts?
Well, I was going to touch on social media, but that's with us all.
Mhm.
We spend too much time on social media. That scrolling just gets us. So
Mhm.
if it gets us sometime, imagine what it does to someone who's always in the spotlight. Okay, so some different challenges we may not
Right.
consider that athletes face. I would say the public scrutiny. I would say burnout. Absolutely. Performance anxiety,
Mhm.
identity crisis that's tied to the performance,
Wow.
um, financial challenges. And it doesn't mean that they're low on money. It just means they have so much
They're giving
money.
it to everybody.
you know, and that's not a problem to have. But if your strong suit is not, appropriately delegating funds, and compartmentalizing where they need to go, you have to
Mhm.
be able to find people that you trust. And maybe you think you have found someone, but take your time and do some research. And you can feel people. I don't talk too much like about vibes and energy, but you can just tell
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
people are genuine. And some
Mhm.
people talk a good game. You be like, wow, they're real salesmen. You know what I mean? But we're not
And
looking for salesmen. We're
and it's
looking
the
for
difference. Yeah.
absolutely. So I would say those things, body shaming, so body image, things of that
Mhm.
nature. It's so many different things, and then we could dig deeper and get into, some types of, I would say, mental disorders or things of that nature. Things that are
Right.
not just surface level, things that athletes are just recently discovering or have been hiding, and carrying around a level of shame when no shame is needed. I'll
Mm,
repeat it again. We all are just people, and we are valuable
right.
with our life alone. You know.
That's true. That's true. And I think um, sometimes I feel like, especially collegiate, well, all of them, I feel like sometimes because of what you said, the social media, what if they had a bad game? And you know
Yeah.
how people can be so cruel.
Yes. Yeah.
I know they're not going to do it, but I really wish that they would ban them from being on social media during their season. They're not going to do it, but I'm like, so they can focus on the game, focus on their health and everything. But that's just wishful thinking because it's
Yes.
not going to happen.
It's
But
not going to happen. But a lot of people would say, well, before they enter, the sport, they understood it came with a level of, being in the spotlight. And while we understand that, there's still things that catch us off guard that we're sometimes not ready for. You're trying to
this
get.
spotlight is different, Alicia, than what
Mhm.
it was 20 years ago.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
if you
It's
agree, I
it's
know you agree. Yeah,
It's
it's
quick,
totally
it's
different.
aggressive, it's all those things. It can work in
It,
your favor, but then it doesn't matter what you do sometimes, you're still always going to have people who disagree.
oh yeah,
That probably works well for some athletes to a degree because they feel like they have defied the odds. But sometimes it still doesn't
okay.
matter what decision you make, whether you
Hmm.
switch a team, whether you're doing something in the best interest of your family. Um, I follow LeBron James a lot, just the way
Hmm.
that he functions. There's only so much you can know about somebody, but just the
Right.
way he has functioned throughout his career behind the scenes and his level of mindset, not just the words that he says when he's on camera, but
Hmm.
the way that he has to refocus his mind. And when he says family, from what I've seen, I believe he means family. He's not just doing it as something to say to sound good, and it's not.
Yeah.
And he's not the
Hmm.
only one, but he comes to mind. And I've never
Oh, I
been to
agree.
a game to see LeBron, although I would love to. So he just comes to mind, you know.
I agree. I mean, he does. He seems to have a nice balance. Kobe did too. Kobe didn't really get active on social media until after he
Hmm.
retired. But I agree with you. It's a difference with some. Some of them need to learn a balance. So I agree. Alicia, can you share a success story? Someone really embodies what stay in the game is all about?
Sure, I could do that. A couple people come to mind. Of
Mhm.
course, for confidentiality purposes, I can't name,
Oh,
some people. I
absolutely.
have, I have a client that's a bodybuilder,
Mhm.
and the owner of a gym, and I really am proud of him because I mean, muscles bulging and all that stuff, but that's not what
Mhm.
I'm proud of because he does that naturally. I'm most proud of him for being able to talk about what people can't see because everybody's
Mm.
applauding and seeing the person push and lift weights and bench press 450, 500,
Right.
go off and compete and win. But we're
Mhm.
talking about the day-to-day things where nobody's amping you up, but you still know you're important. So
Yeah.
to me, stay in the game is helping the individual understand that every day that they wake up is an opportunity to do something they have not done before, and it may not always be easy. Okay. And so there's that aspect, but also I would say, shallow, you know,
Oh
um,
yeah, I love him.
shallow Sanders, again, spotlight constantly on, social media and stuff like that. But, I listened to his interview, I believe it was last week. He was talking about, he's a man
Mhm.
of many talents. He began to name them. And of
Yeah,
course, we know that he has a passion and heart to play the game of football. And I definitely want to see him out there playing again. But ultimately, I want
absolutely.
the person to be happy. But behind the scenes, he was already working on other things.
Yeah,
And
modeling,
then he
acting.
needed help and to, guidance.
Yep.
And he may not have agreed with everything that, people were saying that was in his corner. His father's also been in the spotlight. His sister, I believe, plays sports, just the whole family.
Hmm.
So I would say that's a good picture of staying in the game.
And I appreciate. It amazes me how some people are upset because their father is involved in their lives like that. It's a wonderful thing that their
Right.
parents support them and encourage them. And I love what he's doing with his kids. I love
Mhm.
it. And Pilar, I love what they're doing. So it's that helps with your mental health
It
when
does.
you have your parents there and they're encouraging you? Go ahead.
Because if Dion was absent, somebody would have something to say about that. You know what I mean? Like these are his children, and he has not raised them to be disrespectful, but rather confident and trusting God. You
Mhm.
know, and what that means to them and how they live their life. And none of us are going to get everything right. I tell my clients all the time, when I think of what it is I am to them, I'm one piece to their puzzle. Like
That's
if
right.
you take a 150, I guess, piece puzzle, all those pieces,
Hmm.
I'm just one, and we're working together. But really, the client already knows what they need. It's just that guidance and cutting through the noise in their head.
Right.
And sometimes the noise is not from external, I would say, sources. It's from within, which is
That's
why
true.
identity, self-identity, two different things, and self-perception is very important, separate from the sport that you play
Hmm.
or the sport that a family member is pushing you to play. Because whatever
Mm,
you want to do.
that's good. That's
You
good.
Now I
That
want
because
to
it's a
he had
lot.
a time. He had a little commercial, not a little, but a commercial, I believe, the other week, and he had to wear like Depends or something. And he's
Oh
like,
yeah.
do what I got to do. And I'm like, now that is a picture of staying in the game.
Yep. That's
You
that's.
know,
You're right.
whatever
You're
it
absolutely
is,
right.
he's
That
yeah.
is true. I have a friend. He's a former NFL player. He does a football show with me during football season. But his son is big like him, and he wanted to play
Mhm.
soccer, and we was like, oh God, and we was like, you will be great, but nobody forced him. But guess what?
Right.
He decided on his own he wanted to play football, and he's going to be a great talent. He is a great talent. He's 10th grade, 11th grade this year,
Oh
and
wow.
he's doing well. So, but he made the choice, and we was just like, thank you, Jesus, because it was just like, you too big to be out there playing soccer. But he was a kid. That's what he wanted to do. And I'm glad
Yeah.
his dad did not force him to, like, be
Yeah.
like me. I appreciate that. So, Alicia, what's been one of the most rewarding moments for you so far in this journey at Stay in the Game?
Mm. Such a difficult question.
Mm,
All of them have really been rewarding.
that's good.
I I've noticed it's been thank you. I've noticed it's been a snowball effect of me putting myself out there. Now I've always been a
Mhm.
talker, but there's different environments I'm normally willing to talk in versus others. And
Okay.
so Monique Smith, I'll drop her name again. Just her reaching out at one point. I like to use a bit of discernment and things of that nature, but she really is who she says she is, and I really appreciate her.
She is.
Just being able to kind of put you in spaces to be like a connector,
Mhm.
and then from there you just you gauge things. But I also do my research, and everything can't be found on the internet. I'm pretty
Yeah.
observant, and so I will sit back and I'll just observe different encounters I may have with people, and not just in like one space, just over time. And
Right.
so I would say every opportunity I realize it's not per se for me. It may be exciting because when I
Mhm.
first started, I was like, oh my God, there's a whole world of sports out here,
I
with
know.
women. I already knew, women were involved in sports and things
But
of that.
yeah, when you're in it, you
Yeah.
see it
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. I thought I was going to go to the WNBA when I was in ninth grade. So I knew it was out there. But there was another plan that still led me,
Mhm.
to the sports world because I just couldn't get away from it. So I would say every moment leading up to this moment has really put me in a position to be blown away, appreciative, grateful, honored,
Mhm.
and I'm just honored to be able to help other people, who come
Yeah.
to hear me speak. Like, how did you do this? How did you do that? Well, not long ago, even just a few months ago, I was asking those questions. And to be honest, I
Mhm.
believe I'm a forever learner. I'm still going to ask those questions in a different way. But
Yeah.
I am turning the mirror on myself and making sure that I'm asking my own self these questions. Um, I think that there's enough space and room out here for us all to not compete against one another. I think that we can pull gems from, an individual, but
Mhm.
at the same time, what is it that you do that's going to be different? Because if there's a lot of different, I guess, I would say events out here similar to what you're doing, what makes you unique? I
Mhm.
came from a small town with a stoplight. I love sharing that because
Where
I
are you
was
from?
Gates County. And where's that? I know you're gonna say that. Gates County. It's in North Carolina. It's
Okay.
45 minutes from Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
Okay.
ECS.
Yeah,
Shout
yeah.
out to my alma mater.
Mhm.
So if you hear the country twang, that's why I'm talking about deep country. Some may call it boredom. That's why basketball and football were my thing outside. Also drawing, which is why my background
Okay.
as an art educator kind of ties into that, and I kind of use
Hmm.
that in some of my therapy sessions. You know, some people may be
Love
like, why
that.
are we doing that? You'd be amazed at the number of athletes that love, I would say, drawing. And my best friend loves anime. I'm having a hard time getting into it, but what I know is
Mhm.
all I see is boom, bam, bam.
I can't.
But what I know is somebody out there loves this, and if I can connect with them in that way and draw them into my world, um, I know that they can make an even greater impact. And I say
Yeah,
greater impact because I believe people are already great without me. I'm
that's
there to
right.
help even more to evolve.
I love that. Alicia, what do you hope every athlete and family walks away with after working with the Stay in the Game team?
Knowing that before they ever came into fame or where they are in life, nothing is too far fetched for where they want to go in the next season of their life
I
as a
love.
person. Knowing that their life, we all hear this on commercials and things like that. So I'm not
Hmm.
trying to be a commercial, I'm being me. Your life literally matters. Whether
It
you
does.
divorced, whether you have had a case out, with CPS, whether you've been unemployed, you would not believe the number of people that's in the spotlight that have had stories similar to that. Whether
Yeah.
you're dealing with a chronic illness and you're hiding it, whatever the
Mhm.
case may be, whether you have none of those things going on, but you're struggling to find a spouse or partner or even just a friend who just wants to kick it with you, like understand you, not
Mhm.
the things that you have that come along with you.
Right.
So I want them to know that they matter as an individual in those ways, and that mental health is not something they technically have to shy away from. It wasn't Mental health wasn't a topic of discussion in my home growing up, but it wasn't because we were shying away from it. It just never came up.
It
Just
never came up. No.
everyday life.
Black communities, our community just didn't do that.
And so how I even segue into it blows my mind. So that's why when you said like what are some of the most memorable things, everything. Because
Yeah.
everything played a great part. I understood with much reflection and frustration, questioning, what do I want to do next? I
Hmm.
understood that the way we think really determines how we behave, and how we
Yeah.
behave determines, our self-perception and how far we can go in life.
That's true. I agree. Alicia, thank you so much for joining me today.
Okay.
However, before we go, I play a little game called What You Know.
Okay.
And I'll ask you a few questions and you choose the one that you feel best fits. And it does not mean because you're working with athletes, if you don't know it, it doesn't matter. It's just some
I'm just
fun
one piece
trivia.
of the puzzle.
That's
Yeah.
right, exactly. So, who has thrown for the most passing yards of all time? Is it Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, or Drew Brees?
Peyton Manning.
Tom Brady.
Ah,
With 89,214 career passing yards. Amazing.
that's a
Amazing.
that's
Yeah. Who has thrown for the most receiving yards all time? Is it Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Jerry Rice, or Marvin Harrison?
Give me the names one more time.
Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Jerry Rice, or Marvin Harrison?
I am torn. I know this is not a talk out session, but let me talk it out.
No,
This
you're
is
fine. Talk it
let me,
out.
okay. The fourth one, unfortunately, at this present time, I don't know, but I will research him after that. So we're gonna eliminate it. Okay. All right. So Jerry Rice or Terrell Owens, and if neither of those are right, my God. So let's go with Jerry Rice.
Correct. My homeboy Jerry Rice.
That process elimination works. Stay in the game.
That's
Okay.
right, yeah. Mississippi born and bred Jerry Rice with 22,895 career receiving yards.
Go ahead, Jerry.
How many players can NFL teams roster at a time? Is it 60, 53, 49, or 50? And they just cut the roster last week before last, so how many? 60, 53, 49, or 50. Do that process elimination again.
Yeah, I'm going through numbers in my head, but let's go with 49.
53. And you know that because
They sound too close together. Like, why would I choose 49?
I chose that number.
That's somebody's age. Okay.
What is the only team to have gone 0-16 in a single season? Was it Kansas City Chiefs, Detroit Lions, Washington Commanders, or LA Rams?
So you trying to get me in trouble here, because when I start working with some of these teams, they gonna play this back. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, but run it back one more time.
It's in the history books.
Not down in history, so I'm okay.
Yeah, you're okay.
Okay, so one more time, please.
Kansas City Chiefs, Detroit Lions, Washington Commanders, or LA Rams. They went 0-16 in a single season.
Was it the Detroit Lions?
Correct.
My apologies to Detroit.
2008, Detroit Lions. 2008, 17 years ago.
They have bounced back. Mm-hmm.
Yep, they have. They really have. How many NFL teams' names are? How many NFL teams' names are some kind of bird? How many, and then name them.
Oh, no multiple choice. Okay.
No, I want you to tell me how many teams.
I know. I said no multiple choice. I gotta.
With a bird. So
Can I just say it as it comes to mind?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Eagles, the Cardinals. Y'all seeing my thinking process? Oh my God.
Go down to the dirty South.
Oh, the Falcons. Okay. Come on, keep it.
Go back up to the East.
Not the Pats.
In the DMV.
Redskins?
No, in the DMV. It's in one of those cities. States.
I said Redskins. Y'all act like I didn't say that.
In the DMV.
Me right now. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. It's probably so simple. We're gonna edit this part.
Who does Lamar Jackson play for?
Oh, the Baltimore Ravens.
One more. Let's see. Sierra's husband used to play for this last team.
Oh, the Seahawks.
Correct. Good job.
But thank you.
You did fine. You did fine. Alicia, tell me.
I love it. It was very competitive. I love a good game.
Good. Tell the listeners how they can follow you on social media and get in touch with you for any sessions.
Absolutely. So you can follow me at Stay in the Game LLC on Instagram. So that's STAY, the letter N, Game LLC on IG. You can follow me on my LinkedIn page at Alisha J. Lassiter, MSW, LCSWA. Those are the primary platforms I use. If you would like to email me, well, I would love for you to peruse through my website and go through make an inquiry about me coming to speak for your workshop or panel, things of that nature. Or if you want to have a quick chat. So you can go to my website at www.stayinthegame.com. Okay.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. And guys, you can follow me on Facebook, She Say Sports, Instagram, She Say Sports 23, and please subscribe to our YouTube page, She Say Sports. Well, that's our show for today. Until next time, this is Sonia with She Say Sports.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.